Avusheni, grandchild. Welcome home. I know it looks different than you remember. We've had some problems here at Vurhonga, Savanna. I've watched the sun rise and set over this park for 45 years. I've seen miracles of life, wonders of nature you would not believe. Our family's roots here run deeper than the oldest baobab tree in the park. But after 45 years, I'm humble enough to admit I can't be senior warden forever. Droughts, disease, and poachers are a constant threat. My team and I have protected and saved countless species over the years. But after a streak of bad luck, our elephants and all but one rhino are gone. If we lose more animals, the state could shut us down. See, I'm not about to hand the keys to my office to just anyone. I want to keep the role of senior warden in my tribe, preferably my family. So, grandchild, here you are standing in the bush. You can protect Vurhonga, save the animals who call this park home, mend what has been broken. This will make our ancestors proud. Spiritually, physically, you're going to face the most difficult challenges of your life, but you can overcome them. I believe in your talent. I always have. Now, ready to prove grandfather Njabulo right? You must have had a long flight, didn't you? Well, let's stretch your legs with some basics. You can finish these in any order you like. I'd start by reacquainting yourself with this area. Climb the nearest lookout tower, take in the view, take note of your landmarks, and see if you can spot any wildlife. Then I'd go ahead and reopen the nearest outpost. We stopped keeping them up after last year's budget cuts. With your help, they'll make fine shelters again. You see it again, don't you? Africa, the land where people began. I knew you couldn't leave Vurhonga forever, grandchild. The day our family adopted you, I saw the fire in your eyes, and I said, that child is Noi, mystical, magical. And now I know I'm right. The ancestors brought you back here on my behalf. Thank you for coming. You've still got those other jobs to do, right? Don't slack. Finally, show me your hunting skills. Track and harvest an animal of your choosing. I'll be judging the quality of your kill. Now you just have to do one more thing. Then I have a surprise for you. No, I'll spoil the surprise for you. It's more work. Such is the life, eh? That outpost is much more accommodating thanks to your handiwork. Thank you for fixing the place, grandchild. I could not ask more of you. That was perfectly executed. That is everything I ask you to do. Awe, grandchild. Oh no, we have a problem. Remember how we lost the elephants and all but one rhino? You know what the problem was, don't you? Poachers. They littered the reserve with traps. The Vusha, the eastern land, was hit hardest. My crew helped the police push these poachers out of the Vusha, but they left so many traps behind. No matter how many we've cleared, we keep finding more. A junior guide spotted a few of these traps not far from where you started. Could you kindly clear them out? There you go. Saving the savannah, one good deed at a time. Another good deed? With so many good deeds, the animals are going to like you. I can tell. That's just a taste of the warden's work here in the Vusha. There are other regions to explore. But if you want to stay here, make yourself useful. Check your mission log for assignments. If you'd rather continue exploring Vurhonga, head to my wishing tree, marked on your map. There's something important you must do before we go much further. The problems facing this reserve go beyond poachers and aging wardens. There are bad spirits, Iloko, bringing mischief and misfortune. They only come because our ancestors are so angry with the state of this place. We need to make an effort to appease them. You probably think I'm foolish with my traditional ways. Your brother thinks so. That's why you had to come back and help me. All your brother does is set up communication systems, set up all the cameras and the drones. Okay, he does a lot, but he doesn't hunt. And he doesn't believe in Iloko. I hope you are a little more open-minded. Here's my wishing tree. Of course, this is the first place I came to celebrate when I heard you were coming back to Africa. I played the drum and sang to praise the ancestors. Then I put something special inside the tree. It's there, waiting for you. Take it. Carved it myself. Do you recognize Nyami Nyami? The Zambezi call him the river god. He brings his waters rushing, whoosh, searching for his lost wife. Maybe she was a lake goddess, I don't know. If we win his favor, maybe he'll help us conquer the drought that's been sucking us dry. Here's what I need from you. Hunt a springbok. Any will do, so long as you harvest it with the highest integrity while you have nyami nyami on you. Show gratitude to nyami nyami and the ancestors on behalf of your family and on behalf of the local family that this animal will feed. We never sacrifice animals for ritual alone. The local tribes donated their land to Vurhonga Savanna because they rely on this ecosystem for their diet. We have a duty to them. Your work here is still getting started, but you're already making a difference. This animal will feed locals who might otherwise rely on poachers for their meat. Now it's time for you to bring Nyami Nyami home to the river. Take him to the site marked in your codex and bury him. The best way to fight the poachers is to beat them to the marketplace and hunt responsibly to feed the hungry people. There are several volunteer hunters who help us do that work. They may not all be at your level, but they do good work. They're organized by Maria Bueni. She is a lioness. Maria's husband was a ranger who worked with me. He was killed by poachers. When you meet her, don't bring that up to her. It's too painful to discuss. Just know that's why Maria's so dedicated to her work, and why you can't let her down when she needs your help. She'll have work available whenever you find time. The savanna here in Vusha is the heart and soul of the reserve. This grassland sustains a cross-section of plants and wildlife, from the smallest birds to the harems of the pronking springbok. Or at least, the grassland used to sustain them. Now there are so many springbok, we may have to rename this area Springbok City. I kid, but the problem is real. The savanna can't sustain Springbok City. Fewer plants will thrive, the topsoil will erode, Birds that nest in the vanishing shrubs will flee. And if we don't get relief from this drought, the smaller animals competing for grazing areas will die. On that, your codex has plenty of helpful information. But in Africa, the world is your classroom. Why only read about springbok when you can see them for yourself? Find a male and a female, one of each, and spot them. Observe them. Ah, wait. That's the spot. Very yummy there. The ancestors thank you. I can tell this is out of your comfort zone. My traditions are silly to you, I know. You kids always laughed at me because I went to the Sangoma when I was sick. But the Sangoma's healing always worked. Always. So, who knows? Maybe now we'll get this river rushing one more time. Ready for more exploring? Or time for you to go south? Zonga. Take Lopfu Gorge. So named because ages ago a giant elephant, Lopfu, dragged his snout along the ground, carving that gorge into the earth. I don't really believe that one, but I find it entertaining. The path through the gorge is marked in your codex. Along the way, I'll need you to take a photo of a special site. Have your camera ready. Some archaeologists from a Marshall College in Connecticut, USA, came to restore a site they claim is among the oldest human artworks ever discovered. I need photos of the restoration for Vurhonga's new website. It's on your way to your next gig. Scratch two birds with one shot on this hike. There's the Marshall restoration site. You got your camera? Hey, Marshall College does surprisingly competent restoration work. Thank you for getting this. Now, continue to the Zonga, to the place marked on your codex. We need you to collect some water samples from the swamps. Don't get squeamish on me. You've done well so far. Now it's time to get your hands dirty. And your feet. And your legs. By the way, you got a good eye. But hopefully your brother won't reject your photography as insufficiently composed or some fancy crap like that. He's very picky about what he puts on his new website. Who made him the arbiter of good taste? Well, not me, I can tell you. Ish, but I'm paying him to make the website. So maybe it was me after all. Anyway, welcome to Zonga, where every insect on the planet is waiting to greet you. You received the inoculations, right? They're the ones I specified on the checklist I sent you. It was very important that you get all the shots, not just some of them. I hope you got them all, for both our sakes. Last year, if you got this close to the swamp, all you would hear were tsetse buzzing. Tick, 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 tick. They are bad, bad bugs. When our drought began, animals started clustering at fewer water sources, and the tsetse flies clustered with them. That meant TNT, tsetses and trypanosomiasis, a virus that forms nagana in livestock. Nasty disease, very bad. In humans, the same virus forms sleeping sickness. Sleeping sickness, it's no way to die. Anyway, the problem was the clustering. So we broke up the heads as best we could, aggressively quarantined sick animals. We had help from all over, all hands on deck. This year, no more tsetse. That's how it goes. Take another sample from the site marked on your map. This is easy work, right? Too easy, maybe? Then you should be able to get it done faster. Thank you for mucking around. Your brother will submit these samples for testing. There's also a lot more work to do here in the Zonga. With the river drying, more Hamganyi wildebeests are migrating through the reserve. So many, they don't realize they're going to starve themselves by depleting the grassland. Your job here will be to focus on saving the wildebeests from overpopulation. Just check your mission log when you've got time to spare. I almost forgot, grandchild. That shot you took of the restored painting, your brother sent it to a photojournalist who frequents the reserve, Flip Osprey. Flip was impressed with your eye. I told him you get it from me. He has some more assignments for you if you're game. Helping him will put a little extra cash in your pocket and promote the reserve while we're at it. Right this moment, though, you have another priority. Flip Osprey isn't the only foreign media we've had touring Vurhonga. This German Who-tube guy or whatever, Gustav Baden, he calls himself a world-famous ghost hunter. I took one look at him. I said, if this man sees a real ghost, the only thing he'll do is turn a paler shade of white. Your brother thought it was better to humor Baden for the Who-tube views and exposure or whatever. So I let him come with all his fancy gear and his cameras. What a fool I was. He's not been here 2 days, 2 days, and already Gustav Baden has gone radio silent. Without our guidance, between the poachers and the buffalo, this European Mampara is going to get himself killed. Go to his campsite, give him your spare radio, and talk some bloody sense into him. He should have a camp set up to your west in the area marked on your map. Zonga is a mix of swampland and dry riverbeds. Drought has made the swamps muckier, and with the river running dry, a large herd of wildebeest have crossed into Vurhonga unobstructed. Wildebeest herds are usually transient, but right now we have too many wildebeest for the region to sustainably feed. Breeding season is incoming. They're not migrating quickly enough, even though they are running out of food. As the herd slowly starves, it will become volatile, and the risks of mass stampedes increase. Not good, boss. The danger of stampede makes hunting these wildebeest especially high risk. And what do we do in high-risk situations? We make preparations. Start by spotting a few wildebeest. Bulls or cows, it doesn't matter. What matters is noting where they spend time. Accustom yourself to their behaviors. Don't stop looking until you find that Mampara bird. You found Barden's camp? Where's Barden? You're a scout? Figure out where he's gone. He left a note. Let's read it. Dear Warden Shabanangu, Barden can't even spell my name right. Last night, I had the pleasure of drinking beer with some of your friendly local hunters. Here we go. I must have drunk too much, because when I woke up, I had lost a lot of gear, including my radio batteries. Lost. More likely stolen by poachers, you Mampara. He goes on. No worries. As long as I have my camera, my mission continues. Those hunters tipped me off on some local fungi that may help me see the Eloko. So I'm off to look for buffalo dung. I promise to check in with you ASAP. What a fool. I hope he falls in that dung. We've got a whole reserve to mind. We can't spend all day chasing a Hutuba or whatever that means. But at least now we know there are poachers active somewhere in the Zonga. We have to figure out where exactly. Until then, you should be Oh no. Your brother says one of our electronic trackers has gone dormant. The tracker on Rambolo. She's our last Melembe. Our last rhino. You must go to Rambolo's last location and find out what the problem is. Hurry. If those poachers have found her, Rambolo is in trouble. Let her be alive. Please, ancestors. This is a tragedy. I am gutted. Rambolo wasn't just an animal. She was like family to everyone on this reserve. Now she's gone. I nursed her back to health as best I could. but she was in no condition to make a trip hundreds of kilometers away. So she stayed. Now this is what's become of her. I will send a team to clean her up before the jackals come. She's been with us so long, her hide should be preserved. Okay. I can grieve later. We have work to do. What would you bet those friendly lookers who stole Barden's gear were the criminals who did this? We must find out where they went. Not so you can confront them. You observe and report to me. I report to the police. The police put a team together and round them up. Got it? Good. Follow those tire tracks. Observe and report. Now to find them. Poachers are sloppy butchers. Look for things they'll leave behind, like tire tracks. Keep after those tracks. Be on guard. Maybe this is their camp. Don't stay here too long. They're a group, so you'll probably hear them coming, but you never know when they'll be back. Anything suspicious? Even the least experienced poachers would not leave their haul in an unguarded pickup truck. Someone or something sabotaged them, and I doubt that Gustav Barden is the one who slashed their tires. You should get out of here before they return. But first, they've no doubt left traps in the area nearby. Do a quick sweep to remove them before you leave. One less animal for the poachers. But I'd never leave just one trap. Keep scouting. Good work. What is that? Those shots were not meant for you, but they weren't far off either. There's a hut nearby. You should try to take shelter there. But be careful. I have no desire to bury my grandchild today. getting close to the hut. Stay low, stay quiet. Make sure you're alone. What happened here? With that many shells, that much damage, these maniacs must have been firing in every direction from inside here. But at what? Are they drunk? Or maybe they're being hunted by the Eloko. Another thing we'll have to investigate. Get moving. We've got reports of smoke coming from the fever tree forest to your west. None of my rangers are out there burning fires right now. Go check it out. Put that fire out before it causes a problem. More shots fired. And they're screaming. Your brother thinks they might be getting trampled by buffalo. But we'd hear the rumble of hooves if that were the case. My gut tells me those poachers are being punished by the Eloko. Your heart is pure, grandchild, but tread lightly, or the Eloko might come for you too. Thank you. What else do you see? Signs of poachers? Their weapons were completely dismantled. Any other clues out there? I'd hate to be barefoot out there, wouldn't you? Keep looking for signs of life or death. Savage, eh? Torn clothes, torn bodies. I think we've seen enough to call this an Eloko problem. But your brother still thinks a mad buffalo or a whole head may have been charging the poachers. We can look into that later. For now, you should rest. There's a shelter nearby. Go take a break there. Keep your eyes and ears open for trouble. Just about there. Time for you to refresh. Should be safe to go inside. What are those pictures of? A ghost jackal? No, not again. Your brother thinks Gustav found his fungi and it inspired these drawings. But I think we are dealing with something well beyond fungi. A restless spirit who does not want Gustav Baden to journey further along. Grandchild, are you awake yet? Hello? Hello? Ah, there you are. Hope you had a good dream. Now, it's time to get back to work. The other wardens could not find Gustav Baden, but since he decorated that shelter, maybe he is close to you. Can you check on him? Eish, Baden left a note while you were sleeping, so he is nearby. And at least he's still alive. Read the note. Mampara. Your brother may not believe in the Eloko or Ghost Jackal, but I hope you have an open mind, because I tell you this, that Ghost Jackal is real, and she means to harm Gustav Baden. And even if you're like your brother and you don't believe me, consider that Baden is tracking a jackal with a strange coat, which may mean it's malnourished or diseased. Whatever you believe, as wardens, we have a responsibility to find Baden before he has a close encounter of the worst kind. From here, head north into Vopaladiamba, the Western Reserve. You'll remember it for the big plateau, the one with the view to die for. That's where you find the potholes that Baden mentioned in his note. There are plenty of places along the river to check for signs of Baden. The first spot is marked on your map. The area ahead, you might remember, is popular with the tourists. stop and check it out. Remember these? The giant's kettles? We just call them the potholes. When I was a young warden, my friend Mbali and I used to patrol out here. We saw some tourists bring coins and toss them into the holes for good luck. So we started doing the same. We can't do that anymore. It draws too many thieves. The only predators we ever saw here were a family of jackals, always sulking about. They never bothered Mbali and I. At least. You know what? You should keep moving, looking for Baden. There's another spot to the north. Give it a look. Grandchild, this is not easy for me to talk about, but I must tell you. One day, we were a man down, so Mbali went out scouting on her own, even though she was not feeling well. 9 hours later, she hadn't returned. I knew where to look for her, our lucky potholes. But when I found her, she was dead. And the jackals were eating her. Now, those jackals had the taste of people, and you know what that means. 2 females, their litters, their mate. I had to shoot them all. They'd never bothered us, but here, I thought these jackals killed Mbali. I was so angry. After I shot them, I didn't harvest them. I didn't honor them. I kicked their bodies into the holes and left them to rot while I brought Mbali back to her family. The jackals, come to find out, did not kill Mbali. Sleeping sickness did. As gruesome as it was, the jackals were scavenging, not murdering. They had to be put down, but with respect, not hatred. This is the place where I shot the females. I didn't regret doing it, not at first. But then, whenever I was on night patrol, I began to see it. The ghost jackal. Your brother thinks I should be in therapy for trauma, but the Sangoma confirmed the spiritual nature of the problem. The jackal's spirit haunts me, haunts Vurhonga. Now it haunts Gustav Baden. What if it haunts you, grandchild? What if I have cursed our family? Give me a moment here. Your brother is going to lecture me on my superstitious ways. You should continue looking for Baden at the outpost marked up ahead. You're almost at the outpost. Also, I have some news. The coroner recovered those poachers' bodies, or what's left of them. You made it. Any signs of Baden? No? Oh, this is bad. Very bad. What a mess. What kind of Mampara gives away perfectly good gear to strangers? Gustav Baden, our Mampara of the month. Has he left another note? I have to give Baden credit. He's an even bigger Mampara than I thought. Poisoning himself with fungus and scaling the plateau is perhaps the stupidest thing I have ever heard happening at Vurhonga. And I've been here 45 years. All right. With any luck, Baden's stranded at the top of the plateau. So far, you've saved several animals. Today, you're going to save a Mampara. Follow Baden's tracks to reach this base camp of his. Baden's boot prints, great. At least he has proper footwear, and he seems to be capable of walking in a semi-straight line. Follow him. You're just about up to the weeping face? Tourists and film crews love this spot. I don't need to explain the name, do I? I mean, it's a face that looks like it is weeping. What else would you call it? So, base camp is in the middle of a paddle. Mampara. Check it out. What if he didn't leave this stuff here on purpose? What if he was being chased? Or at least if he believed he was being chased? Let's hope Baden is stranded or passed out at the broken bridge up ahead, and not splattered against the ground below. I posted warning signs all over that bridge to keep Mamparas like Baden out. It doesn't stop them from trying though, does it? Of course the sky is belching, right when we're trying to save this Mampara from himself. Hurry, grandchild, and be careful. Mind your step up there. Mind the ghost. Those tracks you're following won't last long in a flash storm. Hurry, quickly! That bridge should be just ahead. Ancestors, help us. Good! You found the broken bridge. What about Baden? What do you see? That looks like a bit of the jacket Baden wore. You need to collect it so we can confirm. Be careful. You're no Mampara, but gravity will pull you down same as anyone else. Careful, grandchild. Grandchild, hello. What happened? Grandchild. Little brother, get a drone out there and find your sibling. I don't care about the weather. Grandchild, listen to me. We're going to find you. You will be okay. You have to be okay. Please, ancestors, protect your grandchild. The Noi hunter who came home to honor you. Grandchild, if you can hear this, I'm sorry for everything. This ghost jackal, that bridge, it's all my fault. I failed you. Grandchild, you're moving again. If you can hear me, you're close to a cave. That cave is where the jackals kept their den. I don't know what the ghost jackal wants from you, but I tell you this. A hunter with a pure heart like yours should not fear the dead. You will be protected by your integrity, guarded by your ancestors, even as you journey into darkness. A hunter with a pure heart like yours should not fear the dead. You will be protected by your integrity, guarded by your ancestors, even as you journey into darkness. Have faith, grandchild, in yourself. I do. Grandchild, The ghost jackal. Ancestors can find you. Only you can redeem me from this curse. Was that? Is that your sibling signal? Grandchild, is that you? Praise the ancestors, I was right. You really are a hunter with Noi blood. Now you believe me. You know the ghost jackal is real because you've seen it. And you have an opportunity to help me make things right. There is a tree that only appears in the moonlight. Find it. That's where you must bury the jackal's skull and offer praise and respect to the dead on behalf of your grandfather. The dead do not disappear. They live on through us. The dead are always watching us. So we always have a chance to be redeemed in their eyes. Thank you, grandchild. It's a new day, grandchild, for both of us. While your brother thinks a medic should check you for signs of mushroom poisoning, I think you have finally lifted the curse on Vurhonga. I carried this weight like a boulder on my heart for decades. Now, it's gone. I feel 5 years younger. No, 10 years. But I called you here so I could retire, and there's no taking that back. Obviously, the job is yours. So, congratulations, Senior Warden. Now you get to deal with your brother and his YouTubers and his spiritual skepticism. Congratulations. And do you know what else you get as Senior Warden? Can you guess? It's more work. And you can't do it alone. That's why I've called in a specialist and a team to handle that task. Veteran wilderness guide Dr. Dana Maritz. Dr. Dana is an acquired taste. To her, there's a wrong way, and then there's her way. Now that you are Senior Warden, I guarantee she's going to test you to find out which way you do things. She can be overly authoritative, but if you pay attention, Dr. Dana will teach you some things. She's not always right, but she's the real deal when it comes to hunting and skill shooting. That's why weapons manufacturers put her on the payroll to sell their products. Now, don't let Dr. Dana occupy all of your time. You have official wardens' work to do there in Vopaladiamba. The Mfundla, the scrub hare population, is out of control, and it's starting to affect the living jackals that call this plateau home. Your work in this region will focus on restoring balance by applying different pressures to the animals. In addition, you still have exploring to do in Walunga, the Northern Reserve. Plenty of work to do up there. The river up in Walunga is predator-free, making it a safe haven for Cape buffalo. A dangerously large herd has congregated there. You need to disperse it, and that will be tricky. Take the time to prepare before you tackle that one. Now, even though I am officially retiring and you are officially the Senior Warden who runs Vurhonga Savanna, I'm not going to leave my radio post. For as long as you'll have me, it will be my pleasure to continue to offer you guidance whenever I can. That's the least I can do for you after what you have done for me. Now, when I die, the ancestors will receive me with pride, despite the mistakes I've made, all because my grandchildren have made our family so proud. Yes, even your brother. He knows I'm proud of him too. Next week, I will take both of you to the cemetery. We'll bring my home brew. We'll sing songs and share memories with our ancestors. We'll celebrate the new Senior Warden, because the dead are always watching us in our sorrows, and today in our joys. Howie, Howie, Howie. Okay, grandchild. Yes, I know I should address you as the Senior Warden, but you'll always be grandchild to me, okay? Now, enough babbling from old Njabolo. You're in charge. What you do next is up to you. The Northern Reserve, Nwalanga, is bounded by a river that offers a source of hydration and protection to many of our animal friends. The river boundary even keeps poachers out, since it prevents them quickly entering and exiting the reserve. But now that the land is devoid of large predators, this safe haven has grown too safe, to the point where it is being dominated by the Cape buffalo herd congregating across Nwalanga. These Cape buffalo are far larger and deadlier than any of the wildebeest herds crowding the Zonga. When dealing with them, if you're shooting within the lethal range, a split second can make the difference between life and death, so have your wits about you. Start by investigating the region. Spot and observe a Cape buffalo. Get a sense of their presence in the region and practice a stealth approach so you don't get stopped. Careful, grandchild. Cape buffalo are not springbok. To spook them is to court death.